So why would we leave when y'all eating us pastries for breakfast and we still had to pay full price to stay here? Like, come on.
Yeah, that's where we're going now.
We're going to get something to eat.
So we're out here trying to survive Melissa, and this is what they're feeding us, bro. What the fuck is this? Yo, I'm pissed off.
These black Americans on my feed at the resorts are so annoying. I can't wait for them to fix the airport so y'all can get back the home. We tell you down now, we don't want to know Jamaica, because the mentality is so
But to the black Americans complaining about getting a discount after a Category 5 hurricane in Jamaica, you're very entitled, and you should never visit Jamaica again.
No woman, no cry. No woman, no cry. Hey, why y'all pissing off these Jamaicans? Why y'all making these? Y'all know Jamaican people is go off like nuclear bomb, right?
Love me or hate me, God knows you made it when he let his eyes on me.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the This Bahamian Gyal podcast. My name is Rogan. On my platform, I do social commentary and reaction videos. I encourage my audience to have private conversations in public. Well, my Jamaican brothers and sisters have had it with some of my African American brothers and sisters. They beefing. Why? Well, I think this one's a good reason. You know, I don't like beef. I really don't, but I could see it for this one. So you had a group of African Americans who went viral online because they were complaining about the food and the accommodations at Jamaican resorts. This is after the passage of Hurricane Melissa, which decimated the island. A lot of Jamaicans were killed. A lot of their homes destroyed. A lot of them are out of work now. And so they were contending with that when Americans were there, some Americans, complaining about the quality of food that they were being given at the resort. And of course, the fact that they weren't being allowed to stay at the resort after their time had expired because the hurricane had hit. And so they went online and they were blasting, Jamaica and saying they wouldn't go back. Some of them were saying that their vacations were ruined. Let's put some things in perspective here before I even play some of the comments that Jamaicans had, because they weren't playing. They got really, really upset. But I want to put some things in context. As somebody who's from the Bahamas, an island nation where we have hurricanes every year, at least tropical storms, we're used to it, but you never really get used to it, especially when you're dealing with a Category 5. And as someone who has a lot of family members who work inside of the resorts, the hotels, I can tell you a lot of times they are there servicing the clients. They are serving the tourists, and they themselves don't know what condition their homes are in. So think about that for a second, because there's a lot of mental anguish there when you are serving people who are acting very entitled, being very rude and bratty. And then it's like, I don't even know if I have a home to go home to, but I'm here serving you, the guest. So a lot of Jamaicans didn't, they didn't take too kindly to that. And they were telling Americans to get the hell out of their country. Don't come back. We don't want anything to do with you. And so we're going to go right into that, because I don't understand how anyone could possibly think that it would be appropriate to explode online or to even record yourself in Jamaica, post it online to complain about the conditions when you knew you were going to an island nation in the Caribbean during peak hurricane season. This comes with the territory. So let's just do this reaction really quickly. I'm going to play some videos back to back so you can hear what the Jamaicans had to say.
These black Americans on my feed at the resorts are so annoying. I can't wait for them to fix the airport so y'all can get back the home. We tell you down now, we don't want to know Jamaica, because the mentality is so and it's so crazy. It is the black Americans. The one them we think could understand we more and be more nicer to we. And them are up one, and them are trouble. Let me make this very clear for y'all. As a former resort worker, regular we want to tell you to go suck on the mother. I'm not care what watch and not understand. Yeah man, a regular we want to tell you to go suck on the mother. Because on attitude just up. Hurricane Melissa has been a warning long before it reached. Y'all knew this shit was coming. Y'all came and find everything to complain about and come on the internet with it. Y'all need to get the back home. We don't give a who choose not to come back to Jamaica. Keep on the bumbuckler money and go on elsewhere with enough attitude. Yeah, I see this big fat sour one named Simora or whatever the name. Go home. Let me have the picture, Hungry Belly Girl. See Hungry Belly Girl. Yeah, man. No top complain. I resort them for food and five. She wants a 5-star service during the hurricane. That is a category 5. So you're a princess. I see it.
Message to the Black Americans. I'm seeing videos of Black Americans complaining that, they're not getting a discount because there was a hurricane in Jamaica. Now, this message is not to all Black Americans on holiday in Jamaica, but to the Black Americans complaining about getting a discount after a Category 5 hurricane in Jamaica. You're very entitled, and you should never visit Jamaica again. How could you be making demands about discount when a Category 5 hurricane just happened in Jamaica? To my Black Americans, we love you, but sometimes we're just getting annoyed with you now. We're getting fed up. Because you walk around feeling so entitled because you're from the United Snakes of America. No. You have manners when you go to people's yards. You don't demand nothing. Especially when there was a natural disaster. So if you feel so entitled, never visit Jamaica again. Jamaica's not for you. Go somewhere else where they'll put up with your nasty attitude. Because this is not the first time this has happened. I remember the barefoot lady in Jamaica, and she says she don't want no Black Americans back at her spot because they just act so entitled. And this video is not to bash Black Americans, but the very few that make other Black Americans look bad. So to those ungrateful Black Americans, just stay away from Jamaica. We don't want you there.
So, for example, there was one lady who was at the Rio in Montego Bay. She was a visitor, and I guess she had paid for certain accommodations, and so she was complaining about the breakfast options and the fact that they had given her pastries for breakfast. Now, listen, I understand that when you book a flight and you book a vacation to go to a nice exotic locale, that you have certain expectations. But a Category 5 is going to disrupt all of that. You're in survival mode at this point, right? This is a survival story, true ghetto story. So when you're in survival, you eat whatever is available to you. You hungry, you'll eat whatever is available to you. This is not the time to be complaining about what you ain't getting or what you've already paid for. That can be worked out later on. The hotel can always reimburse you, give you a partial reimbursement or something like that. But I just think it's extremely tone deaf because you're complaining about food options, you have the option, but there are individuals who probably don't have any food because their houses have been destroyed. So it's not going to augur well for you. People are going to look at you as being very entitled. Now, I was very proud to see so many African Americans because this was the target. African Americans were the target because they really did not like the attitudes that were coming from them. But I was so proud to see so many African Americans online, Black Americans, saying, like, we also view this as, being entitled and spoiled and disgusting. And they spoke out about it as well. So let's take a listen to some of them.
I was just looking at something on TV where you have a lot of Americans who are stranded in Jamaica right now. A lot of entitled feeling Americans who should understand that during this time of the year, it's hurricane season. Like, you should know that. You should know that if you're a traveling person. You should know that where you're going, what that area is prone to at this time of the year. You should know that. I seen where you got entitled Americans over there who are on vacation that feel like because their stay has expired, meaning their vacation is over, meaning their time in the hotel that they're living in while they're on vacation, now that your days have expired, you feel entitled that you should not have to pay to stay in a place that is keeping a roof over your head during a time where others have lost the roof over their head. Not only that, this woman went to go and show the food that they gave them, and she went through it. Might I add, it was a lot of food, but I guess it wasn't to her liking. So she's complaining when other people don't have nothing to eat. It shows what's in a person's heart when you can be anywhere, especially amongst devastation, and all you can think about is yourself. All you can think about is yourself. Like, these people are angry with the staff. They angry with the staff because they feel entitled, because they're guests on the island, to not have to pay any more money because they got stuck there and they didn't want to be stuck there. They feel entitled to be fed better food during a time where even the staff is trying to figure out how they're going to support themselves and help themselves and the people around them. They're doing the best that they can. How dare you be over there in Jamaica during a time where these people done lost everything, and you still got a home to go back to, and you not appreciate the little that they're able to do for you? But it shows, because I guarantee you there's a lot of them guests who say that they love God. There's a lot of those guests who claim they follow God. But it shows you the fruit that they bear in their actions, in the way that they speak, in the things that they're saying. And from what I can see, ain't there one of them showing that God is nowhere in their heart.
I think, another thing we have to understand too, and I mentioned earlier that, I have family members who are in the hotel resort industry, in the hospitality industry, in the hotel industry. And a lot of times they don't know what conditions their houses are in and all that sort of stuff. But you also have to look at it from the resort side of things as well, because they're also in crisis mode. It's not easy for them either, because they have guests from all over the world in their facility, and they have to make accommodations for all of these people. So what does that look like? That means they have to close some dining rooms. They have to put you in safe zones. A lot of times in the hotels, you're not even allowed to stay inside of your room. You have to come down into like a common area that might be a ballroom or something like that, just so they can keep an eye on everybody, make sure everyone is safe. Because if something is flying and hits a window and it hurts you in your room, that's a problem. So they'll keep you inside of like the ballroom. So there's a lot of things that are going on behind the scenes. And a lot of these hotels are experienced at that because they are used to dealing with hurricanes year after year in the Caribbean. But it's still a lot of logistics that have to go into it. And so the last thing they need, honestly, when they're trying to keep you safe, trying to keep you alive, is to hear you whining about pastry options. There are folks who said, oh, but the lady who was complaining is from Bermuda. She's not African American. It doesn't matter who you are, where you're from. The complaints are just, they're tone deaf. These individuals made a conscious decision to fly to the Caribbean during hurricane season, which there's nothing wrong with it, because sometimes you just have little tropical depressions. Sometimes you have a Cat 1 or a Cat 2. It's not that big of a deal, but you have to always brace for the fact that a Cat 1 or 2 or tropical storm can really develop into a Category 5. So if you're going to be in someone else's country, you do not plan your vacation to the T. You don't say, I only have $300 for the room. I only have $200 to eat. No, when you're going anywhere, but particularly in someplace during hurricane season, you have to have extras, because you just never know what's going to happen. And I find that a lot of people go on these inexpensive vacations. Nothing wrong with that, but they only have this amount of money. No, you have to think about every single thing that could go wrong. And even if you have travel insurance, even if you have travel insurance, like sometimes you have to pay up front and they reimburse you, so you still have to have the money up front. So don't go into another country. Don't go into another country for vacation with just enough. Always think worst case scenario. This is one of the reasons why even when I'm traveling, I don't blow all my money on shopping and food and all that stuff. I always like to come home with a good chunk of money, because I just don't know what can happen at the airport. I don't know what can happen at the hotel. I could get injured. You could get injured. So don't plan down to the T, please, especially in a hurricane zone. There were a lot of Americans too who were really upset about Jamaicans complaining and saying, get out of my country. They didn't quite like that. And I understood the part of it. I think tempers were flaring. People are upset because they're watching a bunch of folks being entitled and being rude. And so they're saying things out of anger. I know that the vast majority of Americans do not want that. It's a heavily tourism dependent country. If everybody just got out or just chose to stop going to Jamaica, it would definitely affect the locals. So they know they're angry, but they don't really mean that. I think what they mean is all the entitled brats who don't know how to comport themselves. They don't want them to return. But, of course, you're going to use the blanket term of Americans. We don't want these black Americans here. We don't want Americans here or whatever. I want you to listen to this young lady. I saw her online, and all the content creators are going to be tagged down below in the description box, by the way. And I want you to listen to what she had to say, because she was really miffed. And just take a listen to what she had to say, particularly about African Americans.
When urban fix the airport so the people can go on them yard, because frankly I'm tired of them. And the funny thing is, it's not the people that are complaining now, it's the ones that look like us that are complaining, and I do the most. So guess what? When urban fix the airports and I go on a yard, and as for ungrateful people, don't come back. We don't need no money. We don't need nothing from you. Please, me, I beg you, don't come back. It's when things are up and running again, don't come back. And if you do come back, I hope the ancestors them know what to do. We don't know. You guys are rude and you guys are disrespectful. Please, me, I beg you, do not set foot on the next flight to Jamaica. There's so many other countries to visit. Don't come back. Because we don't treat you well, don't come back. And us Jamaicans too, we're too a little bit enough and forgiving. I'm telling you this, is when time when you see them in them country and I deal with them certain type of way, leave them. Because like me say, if you check the persons that are complaining and the person where they do the most, it's not them people them do the most. It's the ones them will look like we. See, it's when you see them in them country and I deal with them any witchy water way, man on a business on a to enough. Leave them alone. And like me say, no go on in the yard and don't come back.
I am going to say something that I've heard many, many times. And on my platform, I just keep it real. I'm going to keep it so real. A lot of times people in the service industry in the Caribbean will say exactly what she said, that you would think that it's the white Americans who come into the country and act really, really badly, but it's not. You do have some of them, right? But the vast majority, I'm being real, happen to be African Americans. Does that mean all African Americans come into the Caribbean and they act a fool? Absolutely not. Some of them come there, they're amazing. They make great friends with the locals and that sort of thing. But I said to a gentleman, Laurent from Broken Traditions podcast, and I think I put this in another video too. I said, when he interviewed me on his platform, I said to him, the same folks who Americans have a problem with on American soil are the same individuals who are traveling abroad to the Caribbean, to Europe, and bringing those same poor attitudes into those countries. And so it creates a serious problem where people just are like, I don't want to deal with this element. So it's not about African Americans. It's about that subculture that we always talk about on this platform. It's about that subculture that goes into other countries and they're mad disrespectful. Yes, there's an expectation when you're on vacation that you're going to be accommodated. Yes, if these were normal circumstances and the hotel weren't doing what it was supposed to do, I'd be the first one saying, yeah, I wouldn't go back to that hotel. But these were extraordinary circumstances. This was a Category 5 hurricane, and I think a lot of patience is needed. Kudos to the Americans who spoke out against this and said, listen, I think these folks were being entitled, but please don't paint us all with the same brush. I agree. And the opposite is true as well. Don't paint all Jamaicans with the same brush that you paint the individuals who are saying, Kenya, you know what, from our country, we don't want you to come back, because they don't speak for all Jamaicans, number one. And number two, they're speaking from a place of anger. And guess what? Let's be real. If this were Florida and a bunch of Jamaicans or Caribbean people were in Florida after a Category 5 hurricane, and they were complaining about accommodations and food, let me be real with you. A lot of y'all would be telling them to carry their back to Jamaica or back to the Bahamas or back to Haiti or back to Barbados or wherever, y'all would say the same thing too. So don't act brand new like, oh, clutching the pearls. Like, why would they say this? Y'all would say the same thing too. And there's a huge difference between Florida and the Caribbean, because you can drive in resources really quickly. You can drive in resources very quickly. You cannot do that on an island nation.
Do you know what is winding me up, what is grinding my gears, is the entitlement of the American people in Jamaica right now. It is blowing my mind. So I saw a video today of a woman calling out a brand of hotels and basically saying, you know, they're terminating the people's key cards. Yeah, because you're not booked into the hotel anymore, bruv. You're not paying. They're saying if you pay, you can stay, but this is not a hostel. If not, you must go to a shelter. I don't understand why you would feel like you are entitled to stay at the hotel for free. You knew it was hurricane season, because we all know it's hurricane season. You knew that it was coming before it happened. You could have changed your flights to go home, but no, you stayed. Now you can't get your flight back. Yeah, because everything's mashed up. But you decided to stay, or your friend decided to stay, all you people decided to stay, and now what? It's up to the Jamaican people to accommodate you while dealing with this fucking disaster. Make it make sense, please.
Anyway, drop your comments down below. I thought this was a very good video to do. But just drop your comments down below. Let me know what you think about everything that was said. Like I said, at the end of the day, we are all brothers and sisters, all of us. So I don't like to see the beefing. But let me just say something. If you can beef with someone, don't beef with Jamaicans, because they mouth long and hard. And ain't nobody's read you down like Jamaicans. I just want to let you know. I try to stay on their good side, y'all. Drop your comments down below. I'll see you guys in the next video. Love you. Bye. Mwah.